just doing a small market survey. Who has in the room an iPhone? Okay. And who has a QR reader on the iPhone? What's your name? Jared? Jarek? Can you come and sit in front, please? And then enjoy the presentation, but at the end of the presentation, I'll need your help. Okay? Keep your iPhone and your QR reader ready for it. Okay, this is a story about All Things Talk, and All Things Talk is an IoT platform development company, and we are a technology company. And what we have been trying to do since the last 2 years, because the company was founded 2 years ago, is to develop this great technology which we believe in, and then try to see how we go to market. And that's really the story that I want to share with you today, is how to make sure that you're at the leading edge of technology and not at the bleeding edge of technology, which is there is a very thin line between those two. And we say, and that's our baseline, we say that we make IoT ideas happen. And I'll try to explain how we have gone about this. To show you that we are a real company, this is the company, all of us, and these are also the owners of the company. And as in real communism, everyone is equal, and some are more equal than others in owning this company. But we are based in Belgium, as Ada said, and in this very little town which is called Ghent. I don't know if you've heard of it, and Belgium is not a very popular destination right now. I can fully understand and sympathize. I was at the airport yesterday morning at 4:45 to get a 7:45 flight here to here, and it looked a little bit like the images that I've seen from Kabul when going to the Kabul airport. It's a bit the same feeling right now. But we have also a branch office in Belgrade, Serbia, where we have our development team, our platform development team, and we work very, very closely with them, and it's a great team that we've been able to build over there, and we're happy in having this team in those two cities, very nice cities. Now, when I try to explain to my parents, and they come back to me and say, "What the hell are you doing again?" And I say, "I do something which is called the Internet of Things." They go like, "Internet of what?" Because they have barely figured out how to connect their computer and how to connect their phone. And then I try to explain them that everything is going to be connected. And this is really, and I give you this example because my parents have absolutely no sense of technology. But if you go out and you go out of this sort of crowd, you see that there is a lot of question marks. A lot of people ask themselves, what is this Internet of Things about? And I tried to explain yesterday to Ada what the analogy is with something that I lived as when I had some more hair 20 years ago. And I was trying to set up an internet service provider to connect people from home to the internet. And I was trying to convince an investor to invest in that company. And he said to me, "But I understand the internet, but what will people do with an internet connection at home?" Now, this very question might seem absurd to you today, but I had really to think hard 20 years ago about what would people do with an internet connection at home. And what we did to set up this company, we hired some journalists and we created our own Flemish content to persuade people to at least once a day connect to the internet. Can you imagine when you're looking around you here, you go out and everyone on a bicycle or in a car is looking on his smartphone for, to get the latest what happens on Facebook and with their friends, etc. But that was just 20 years ago. And we are exactly in the same situation today, where we say, when we will connect all those objects and all those environments, and we will collect data and try to instruct those objects in a certain way with the data we collected, then we will have to imagine a lot of things in a very different way than what we are used to until now. So the real challenge for us is, how do we find a way to fit what we offer, our product, with what lives and with what are the questions in the market? And that's really the key question for any technology company I have had the experience with over the past X years, is that you have to find a way that even when you are in front of the herd and you try to develop technology which you are convinced that it will be valuable in the future, that you need to be sure that you're not too much in front of the herd, that you make sure that you look back and you say, okay, guys, how do I have to explain what I'm trying to do here? And how can we make sure that I am meaningful in what I develop for you? And this is the most intellectual slide that we have in the company right now. It took us half a day and 2 people to make this one, and no McKinsey consultant was involved. We can't afford them. But I truly believe, and we truly believe at All Things Talk, that IoT is really going to be a story of the long tail. That's the orange line that you see over there. And it's not, I'm a free market sort of person. I'm the first capitalist probably in the room. But when I see how sometimes technology innovation concentrates power, wealth, and market dominance in the hands of a few, I tend to become a little communist again, trying to say, guys, this is not the way how it should work. So I truly believe that IoT, connecting a lot of things, a lot of products, and even all products in the future, will make sure that there will not be one sort of dominance across the globe of one certain part of the technology. I truly hope so. I'm not a visionary, and I can't look into the future if this is going to work out that way, but I truly hope so. So this is the orange line. And then what we try to do on this slide is, on top you see the IoT stage. In the middle, our offering, and the bottom line is the audience that we try to address. And today we truly think that we are at the okay, thanks. Where does this work? The red one? Okay. So this is the stage we're in. Today we look at prototypes and pilot projects that we try to set up with our customers and partners. And the middle part, the offering, is really what we market, what we develop, and what we have in our product catalog. And the bottom line is who we try to sell this to. Okay, so if I say that we are today developing a platform, an IoT platform, in the very best case, I get a lot of curious questions and a lot of interested people. But when I try to market it, first of all, there is no price setting. Second, there is no one opening his wallet to pay for it. And third, it's when you look at the people on my previous picture, 9 out of these 12 people are busy developing that platform. So how do you survive in the meantime? So that's the next question that we addressed is, then we said, okay, if it is about prototyping, what you need is some tools to prototype. You need access to some technology to prototype. So how do we go about that? So that's how we look at the world and at the ecosystem at the moment. So there is a lot of players It's like a puzzle. You have just spread out your puzzle, you have a lot of pieces, and you know that at some point it's going to be an image of a beautiful landscape. But today it isn't, and you have to make sure that you look at all those pieces of the puzzle and that you talk to them and make sure that you put them on the table so that you can build your landscape, your image after a while. The other thing which is important to understand is that we do have people who prototype, but we have also people who are doing pilots, and we have already some production-ready developments that happen today. I've seen companies that in various industries are busy with Internet of Things, or what we can identify as Internet of Things. So it's not that this whole market moves in a very identical way. It's happening at various stages at the same time. So you really have to understand how that market evolves. Now, what is an IoT platform? So I try to explain to you what we think you should put as an emphasis when you try to identify an IoT platform. First of all, this platform should enable you to connect and set up things, which are sensors or objects equipped with sensors that they have to connect in some sort of way to the internet. There's a lot of protocols, telecommunications protocols, wide area, narrow area. It's a very complicated and a very diverse world out there. So that's the first thing. You need to be able to connect up your things in a matter of hours maximum, not days. The second thing is, when we talk about Internet of Things, it's not about just connecting them. It's also making sure that all those objects start to interoperate. Interoperability is a very key element of the Internet of Things. So that you can understand that, for example, I'm driving a car and I'm stuck in traffic, and I go through a city and I'm stuck in traffic because the lights don't remain long enough on green, so that my line is too crowded, and the crossing road has plenty of time and there is very little cars. So imagine that you could have this way of making sure that my car being connected to the internet sends out this data of the speed that we are not traveling, and that the people on the crossroads coming from the other direction or from the crossing direction also have data coming out of their car, which are collected and make sure that it communicates with the traffic lights and that it keeps my lights a longer time on green than theirs, so that we solve this traffic problem. So you need to be able to have things interoperate. The second, or the third thing, and that's what I already mentioned, is it's all about data. Again, it's all about data. So it's about collecting data, it's about storing the data, and it's about understanding the data. And that's the real challenge for us with regard to IoT, is to make sure that you do smart things with the data that you collect. So the IoT, the real value of Internet of Things, according to us, is going to be about the algorithms. The algorithms that filter out the data which are relevant and that instruct the objects in a way that it is faster, it is more efficient, and it is also more practical than we should as human intervene to collect the data, understand them, and then instruct back to objects. And that's the seamless part of Internet of Things that at some stage we will reach. So, and that's the last thing. If you are a company that wants to bring a connected product to the market, you want to label it with your own brand. It doesn't have to say all things talk inside, such as Intel does with all these computers, or it's all about making sure that you can strengthen your brand with a richer product experience without having to refer to technology. That's the other part. So in short, what are the benefits? One, it needs to be usable, it needs to be immediate, it needs to make sure that interoperability is there, and that you can use contact and that you can use your brand to empower it. Now, coming back to this question, what is the Internet of Things and what is the general feeling today in the market? What we see is that a lot of companies and a lot of individuals come back to us with the question, but how can IoT improve my business? Because they are not into technology. They are not overexcited about this new trend, upcoming event of Internet of Things. They just want to understand, how is this going to improve my business processes? How is this going to help me make my product a better product? And a better product means that it offers a richer experience to my customer. And then finally, big companies are not necessarily the best platforms for people to communicate. Marketing doesn't know what sales is doing, doesn't know what product development is doing, and certainly doesn't have a clue what the people in finance or at top level management are doing. So how do you make sure that all those people try to share some ideas about how is this innovative technology going to affect our business and make sure that we can have a better product for our customers? So what we've done is we have three things. The first thing is our technology, our platform. And what we've done is, because we understand that there's a lot of developers out there who want to try it out, we've created an instance. It's called Smart Living. And every developer who wants to start prototyping can use our platform for free to develop his ideas on. So it's a very simple thing, and I'll show you later on, to access our platform and to start using it. The second thing is that we need some money because we're a company and people need to have salaries, and we have put in our savings, but that's still not enough. We sell rapid development kits. And what are rapid development kits? I'll show you a little later on. And what we do as well is we organize hackathons or IoT innovation workshops. Now, let me show you what those things look like. First of all, we have a shop, which is great, and we sell boxes. And these boxes are the ones that you see up there. It's a box in which we have put in sensors, we have put in a computer, a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino or an Intel Edison, and it enables you to quickly start prototyping the ideas that you have. The second thing that we offer is we organize hackathons. This is an example, and we had the finals of this just 2 days ago in Belgium. We wanted to promote the idea of IoT to 17, 18-year-olds, so people in the 2 last years of their secondary schools, and we've called it IoTopia. And IoTopia was about inviting those secondary school kids to develop ideas and prototype the ideas that they had. And this is we've encouraged them to publish this on Hackster.io. And they came up with these crazy ideas, such as, for example, an automatic safe chicken house to make sure that the chickens were safe at night and that they were living in fresh air and that you were noticed when they had laid their eggs. And as you might see when you click on those things, we encourage them to really show how they develop it, what was the idea, make a video, describe the whole thing. They even showed the 3D renderings of the chicken house and etc. And this is really current stage of market, and these are just school kids. But when I show this to companies, they really start to make a link to, we could do this ourselves. We could, as a big company, encourage people and sit down and start collecting ideas and prototyping them and sharing them. So this is what we do right now, is selling those kits and organizing these hackathons. By the way, the Jitter workshop that we are invited to give tomorrow, we are going to focus on two things which are part of the hackathons and the innovation workshops that we give. One is ideation. In too many instances, we're always, because we are technology driven, always attracted to start developing, to start prototyping, to start building things. But we very often skip this important part of making sure that we got our ideas right, that we write them down, that we make sure that the idea is a valuable one. And we have developed, together with a product development company, an ideation methodology specifically for Internet of Things ideas. It's a 7-step methodology, and we'll present it tomorrow at the Jitter workshop. And if you're interested, you can participate in that workshop. And the second part is really the prototyping part, because that comes next. That's where you take those sensors and computers and you take our platform and you start building your idea. So I invite you to participate tomorrow at the workshop, because that's where we'll show that, and you will see how effective this can be. So this is how we do our business today, how we run our business today. But at some point, the Internet of Things is going to be something about mass deployment, because it's really going to be massive. If you listen to McKinsey and Gartner and all these consulting companies, they talk not about billions, they talk about trillions of objects which are going to be connected by this magical date of 2020. Now, and you see now that Gartner sent out a report a few months ago. They were the first ones in 2013 or 12 to say this would be the next big thing. And today they say, well, the next big thing might take a little longer than 2020 to unfold. But what we see is that there is a lot of things happening under the surface. And at some point, it's really going to explode. And when it explodes, then we want to be ready and say, okay, if you want to have your product as a connected product and enrich the product experience for your customers, then you have to make sure that seamless interoperability happens, that data are collected in a very transparent way and used in a very effective manner. And so therefore you need clear analytics, and you need to also to understand that when you put a sensor out there, it doesn't just collect data, it's also part of an environment. You have to understand also what the context is of the data that you have collected, so that you can build the algorithms which are relevant to make your product experience much richer. And then we'll do the same thing. We'll have our platform ready, because we are there together with the makers and the developers to enrich the functionality of our platform. And I invite you to have a look at it on a weekly basis. This platform gets richer and richer, and we are truly believing that this is going to be a very effective service delivery platform. The second part, the tools, is really going to be about the algorithms. Making sure that we collect the data, understand the context, and instruct back to the devices in a very, very effective way. And then the last thing, the guidance, is going to be about making sure that the shit happens. That when you want to deploy an Internet of Things idea in agriculture or in healthcare or in machinery and industrial environments, that it really works. And therefore you need people who understand those industries. And we are not, we are not the ones who understand all those industries. What we do understand is the technology that enables them to make their work much more effective and their product a richer product. But we have to look and we have to partner with all those people who understand those various industries. And that's the thing that we are building today, is those possible partners who are hardware partners, but also have specific knowledge of industries that we think that will benefit from IoT. So coming back to my slide, this very, and we are very proud of this one, of course, but this is the global picture at some point, we believe, that is going to happen. And as I said, we not only make sure that prototyping happens in a much more effective way than it used to be, but we are also looking at the various other stages, and we are involved in small-scale projects that are real projects that happen as we speak. And we see that at all those stages there is need for our platform, and we try to put it at work in the most effective possible way. For example, we have a setup, first of all, the instance which is smart living, as a prototyping instance which is for free of our platform, but we have also set up in the space of manufacturing, where someone with the experience of doing private maintenance in an industrial environment has asked us to set up a private instance for his startup company in the UK to make sure that he can use our platform to organize predictive maintenance. So it's happening at all those very different stages. Some faster, some take more time, but this is how we look at the world, and this is how we try to make sure that we understand what the market need is, try to respond with the right product and the right service and the right technology at a given time, and make sure that we make some money as well, because we are a company and we need to pay some salaries to ourselves so that we can come home and have happy spouses or happy husbands who are happy to see that the bills are paid for. Now, I forgot your name, sorry. Jarek, you still have your iPhone ready. Okay, what I would like to show you now is our platform. And to do so, if you go to our URL, which is very easy, it's maker.smartliving.io. I'll show it at the last slide again. This is the screen that you see. This is where we invite you to sign up, and where we explain what our platform really does. It does enable you to connect and set up your devices, to share those devices across the platform with others, to make sure that those devices can interoperate, and we have a very simple rules engine that we have put at your disposal for it. And we make sure that notification happens. If something happens with the object that you have chosen to connect, that you get notified. Now, one of the things that people have to understand is that there are already a lot of devices and a lot of sensors out there. And it is not only important to put new devices and new sensors out there, it's also very important to make sure that you understand the devices and the sensors that are already out there. And to demonstrate that, when you sign up, we invite you. And I'll show you how this, obviously I have signed up already, so this is, we invite you to connect your very first device, which is your smartphone. You might understand and you truly know that, okay, my smartphone has some movement sensors in there. And so what I invite you to do, and what we invite you to do, first thing is to connect your smartphone. And to do so, we ask you, and I'll ask Jarek to now read the QR code that I'm projecting here. Yeah, I think you'd better come, or this one, yeah. There you go. So what it does, it just will connect you, your screen will turn blue, and it will we will start reading in the platform the data that you send. Are you connected with the Wi-Fi here from MCE? Is it? Okay. And at some point, what you see now, it's waiting for the sensor data to get in. There we go. The light goes on green, and I see that I have here a number of things that that give me information about your phone. So if you start shaking your phone, just left to right, here you go. You see, I can understand that your phone is shaking. If you, and I see on the top left there, that your phone is up. If you would put it down on a table or on your seat, no, it's not. It's just a table, or you can walk to this table and put it down here. There you go. You see, it has moved, and I can see that it moved. And when I turn it left or right, I can see those various movements. It's a very simple way to understand that our platform can collect the data coming from all sorts of sensors. And unfortunately, the security check-in at Brussels Airport is very stringent right now, and I wouldn't have been able to come up with a box with some wires and a computer chip and some sensors. They certainly would have confiscated this. So, but I could also, and that's one of the things that I like to show as well, when I go to my playground, that's how we call it, I could also show that I have another device there that I had already set up, which has, for example, an LED light. And what I then try to show is that I show our rule set to make sure that if I, for example, I have a very simple switch to put on a light or out, that as soon as I lift Jarek's phone from the table, that all of a sudden the light goes on. It's a very simple way to show how you can connect various devices, make sure that they interoperate, and just by using a very simple rule set. So this is a tool, and this is only a few parts of the functionality that we offer in our platform, but it's made for you and others, and certainly also business people with bright business ideas, to develop their first ideas into prototypes and make sure that they can do something with those prototypes and visualize it and share it with others, and maybe entice others to make sure that it happens. So this is how we have coped as a technology company, having 9 out of 12 people developing code and working on a platform, which brings until now €0 or close to €0 revenue, in a way that we have understood what the market does, what the market need is. It's about prototyping, it's about trying out ideas, it's about setting up a process of innovation within companies. And that's how we make a living in the meantime, and understand that we are not at the bleeding edge of technology, but that we can continue to fuel the company with sufficient money to keep our platform developing and growing in functionality, and keeping us ahead of the herd. So this is the end of my story. If you, and I would encourage you to do so, if you would like to discover what we're doing, go to our website. There is a link to makers.smartliving.io. That's where you can sign up to our platform. It's for free. We are, because I'm not going to collect any of your data. I'm going to be very, very friendly with you. We respect the privacy of everyone and what people do on our platform, because that's another big issue with Internet of Things, and we very carefully look into that. If you want to talk to me, I have this big chance of having a very simple name and putting the first letter of my first name in front of it makes me have a very interesting email address, or you can follow me on Twitter.